Ladies and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. It is, of course, Saturday, February 19th, 2022. It is a little bit past 3:15. And I am live here on YouTube when I don't want to be live on YouTube. And to be quite honest with you, I wish that I didn't even have to do this show. I really wish that I did not even have to sit here and talk about the Elimination Chamber literally over 2 hours after I was originally supposed to stream here on Saturday, because every single Saturday is the Lightning Flash Update, the signature show here on the DJ Storms channel, the LFU. And apparently, WWE decided, hey, let's put the Elimination Chamber on a Saturday, which, trust me, I don't mind. I prefer my pay-per-views to be on the weekends rather than the weekdays, that's for sure. But at the end of it all, it is just a complete waste of time at the end of the day. And I really just don't have the energy. I don't have the anger within me to yell and scream and blow out my voice. I don't have the energy in me to get all pissed off, because at this rate, I'm pissed off, but I really shouldn't expect anything less. I really shouldn't expect anything less from the WWE. I really shouldn't. Dave Meltzer apparently reported that WWE was planning a lot of twists and turns for the road to WrestleMania, right? What types of twists and turns did we get? What types of twists and turns did we get? We didn't get anything. All we got was WWE showing us exactly what we already know about their product, that it sucks donkey cock. What did WWE do that was so riveting? They literally rehashed a creative booking decision that they did legitimately 2 years ago at this very event. 2 years ago at this very event, Shayna Baszler walked into the Elimination Chamber when she should have really won the Women's Royal Rumble at that given point in time. She should have won the Women's Royal Rumble at that given point in time, not Charlotte Flair. Shayna walked into the Elimination Chamber and she legitimately eliminated the entire field by herself. She dominated the entire field by herself. Won. And went to challenge Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 36 that year. WWE apparently decided to do the exact same thing with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar came into the Elimination Chamber last, demolished everyone. And Brock Lesnar is now the new WWE champion. It is becoming very, very difficult for me to even stomach watching the WWE product at this given point in time. I really wish I could just stop. I really do wish I could just stop, but the reason why I don't is because I have so many fucking people. Seriously. So many fucking people that come to me and they tell me all the time, DJ, I don't watch WWE anymore. I listen to you. You are my only outlet for WWE news, rumors, reports, and show results. That's the only reason why I watch WWE anymore. Simply because of the fact that people rely on me. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I hate about being a public figure on social media who has to sit and watch WWE regardless of how terrible it is. And let me tell you something, it is terrible. WWE could have given us one of the best elimination chambers of all time. WWE could have given us one of the best elimination chambers of all time. And I actually was semi-excited. I was actually semi-excited for the show because the last time that they were in Saudi Arabia, they put on a great show. Crown Jewel was one of the best pay-per-views for WWE throughout the entire year in 2021. It was actually probably the second best pay-per-view, right behind the Royal Rumble for 2021. And I wanted to believe that maybe WWE would have given us something of substance. Was it a predictable show? Yeah, it was a predictable show. But then again, predictable isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's all about how you get to that predictable outcome. Adam Page taking the AEW World Championship off of Kenny Omega, that was predictable. But the journey that we got with Adam Page, going all the way through 2021, having to allow the Dark Order into his life and accept new friends into his life after he split from the Elite and he parted ways with Matt, Nick, and Kenny. And then all of a sudden, he beats Big Money Matt Hardy, he beats Brian Cage, then he loses his opportunity. Then all of a sudden, we get him going away, returning to a humongous pop in that casino ladder match on the anniversary episode of Dynamite. He finally gets the match with Omega, and he beats Omega. And Adam Page right now is on perhaps the best run of his career as we speak. Predictable is not bad. It's all about how you get to that outcome. And WWE showed everyone that they do not give a single fucking shit. They don't. They don't. They are dead set in their ways. They know exactly where they want to go, and they are not even going to bother putting any effort into how they get to that outcome. Roman and Lesnar was the main event match for WrestleMania. I didn't really have an issue with it. Title for title, that was the predictable outcome. I didn't mind it because now they can finally do away with the brand split, because right now the brand split is one of the many things that is making WWE worse as we speak. I got no problem with title for title at WrestleMania. I got no problem with Roman and Lesnar title for title. Roman wins and Roman does away with the brand split. That's exactly what should happen. That's exactly what should happen. But I mean, for fuck's sake, at least try. At least fucking try to give us something of substance. At least fucking try to make things semi-exciting. At least fucking try to get us just a little bit invested in what you're doing. We all know where this is headed. We all know what the outcome's going to be. We all know where you are going. At least try to actually give us something to sink our teeth into. Give us a great match. Give us a tease in which we could very well see something different rather than the predictable outcome that we're all expecting. At least fucking try to make shit compelling. At least fucking try. The WWE failed to do one thing with this entire show. They failed to try. And I'm going to be quite honest. Most of what we saw wasn't even terrible pro wrestling. The pro wrestling on this show was not terrible. I'm not going to sit here and say that we were witness to one of the worst matches in WWE history. This wasn't Melina Alicia Fox levels of bad. This wasn't Goldberg Bray Wyatt levels of bad. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, we got some of the worst wrestling that we've ever seen all year. No, I'm not going to say that. We actually got some damn good wrestling on the show. But the creative booking, the biggest factor in everything that WWE puts on, the creative booking absolutely fucking slaughtered this show. Worse than Brock Lesnar literally slaughtering all of the top stars, or all of the people that should be the top fucking stars on Monday Night Raw. Absolutely fucking slaughtered was this show because of the shit creative booking that we were witness to. You have 4 men, AJ Styles, Riddle, Seth Rollins, and Austin Theory, that should be positioned at the top of the card, and they were all made to look like absolute fucking bums. You have those 4 men who you could easily build a fucking company around, 4 men who I would easily go out and sign to fucking contracts to appear on my brand if I was running a wrestling company. Those 4 men would absolutely be on my list. And here they are, taking one F5, losing one after another, rapid fire elimination after rapid fire elimination after rapid fire elimination. I don't get it. I don't understand. WWE cannot keep on doing this forever. They can't keep on taking away our money and just putting on a shit product night in and night out. Eventually, people are going to catch up to this. People are going to catch up to this, and people are going to realize, you know what? Why am I wasting my time watching this show when I could be watching something that I could be enjoying rather than watching something that's just going to take my money, give me a little bit of something to invest my time in, ultimately to disappoint me in the end. They can't keep on doing this. Unless Vince McMahon is really set in his ways and he is selling the company. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know what the future for WWE holds. I don't know whether they're going to be sold. I'm not sure whether this is going to continue. I'm not sure what Vince McMahon is going to pull out of his fucking back pocket to make this company an easy $5 million, $6 million, $7 million within 5 minutes. I don't know. All that I know is WWE continues to do the one thing that we all just want them to stop doing. They continuously push the same people in the same exact manner. It's the same faces in the same exact position. No one's any better in the end. They're actually worse in the end. Same exact shit booking that we see night in and night out, and it continues to kill the product. I don't give a shit how much money they're making. I don't give a shit what their stock level is, how much revenue they made. Money means fucking nothing. It means nothing when you're talking about the quality of the show. You could make $1 billion all year long. Whether or not you make $1 billion is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's all about how the show is in terms of a quality standpoint. WWE is going to make money despite themselves because regardless of whether or not Vince McMahon is a terrible fucking producer and a terrible promoter, he is the slyest businessman on the face of the planet. If Vince McMahon did not have the sly business tactics that he has in his arsenal right now, WWE would be in the same fucking position as Impact. Whether or not you want to admit it, that's the fucking truth. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't even give a shit how long you've been in the business, whether you're in the business, whether you're not in the business. The WWE product sucks. It sucks. There's no justifying it. And every single time the WWE puts on a show, they manage to outdo themselves with how bad their shows have become. Next week's going to be even worse. Next week's going to be worse. Next week's going to be worse. They push the same people in the same exact manner. Nobody looks good. They make their top-tier talent look like fucking scrubs. Whether it be Bianca getting squashed last year at SummerSlam, whether it be Brock Lesnar fucking demolishing everyone tonight in the Elimination Chamber, or today in the Elimination Chamber. It's not even fucking 4 o'clock yet. Whether it be Brock Lesnar demolishing everyone in the Elimination Chamber, whether it be Roman Reigns causing the match between himself and Seth Rollins to end in a DQ, whether it be this, whether it be that, the WWE product fucking sucks. The WWE product fucking sucks right now. And I swear to God, I really wish, I really do. I really wish something would happen. I really wish something would happen so I could just fucking stop covering this show. I could just stop covering the WWE product. I wish something would happen in which I could just stop fucking covering the WWE product altogether. I wish. Whether that means WWE goes out of business, even though I don't want them to go out of business, whether that means they're bought by Disney or Amazon or Fox or NBC Universal, whether that be they get better, I want something to fucking happen because I cannot fucking take this shit anymore. I can't. What could have been a fantastic Elimination Chamber event, what could have been a great show in which I actually had high hopes for. I was actually interested in what they were going to do, considering how good the last show in Saudi Arabia was. And what did they do? They shit all over everything. And they made everyone look like a fucking bum. They made every single one of their full-time talent look like a bum, and they made everyone who decided to sit down and watch the show look like they wasted their money and their time. We're going to go over everything. We're going to go over everything regarding the WWE Elimination Chamber event for 2022. I greatly appreciate everyone joining me. Danielle Wolf, DJ Sums, DD, Earl Cole, Adam Carl. Thank you all for joining. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. This is not going to be a regular thing. I'm not going to be doing reviews immediately after the show. The only reason why I did this is because they decided to put the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia, and it was going to take place from 12 to 3. That's the only reason why I decided to do this. Tomorrow we got a special edition of the Lightning Flash update on a Saturday in which I'll be talking about the Cody Rhodes situation and everything going into that. I'll be talking about how delusional Vince is because apparently he thinks there's nothing to fix about the WWE product. Really, there's nothing to fix about the WWE product. I got a lot of shit to say about that as well. And on top of that, we're also going to be talking about apparently 205 Live is dead. NXT Level Up premiered last night at 10 p.m. on the WWE Network. So we'll see what that's all about. I have not watched the first episode yet because, to be quite honest, NXT fucking sucks. They're lucky that I even still watch NXT on Tuesdays. I don't cover it anymore. I just watch it to make myself aware of everything that's going on. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. That's going to be, of course, at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, right here on YouTube. We'll be talking about everything that came out of this week. We're going to be talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin potentially coming back and why everyone that is in support of Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back is an absolute fucking retard. And yes, I will be using that word going forward. I don't give a shit who gets offended by it. If you are in support of the garbage that WWE is putting out and you're in support of Stone Cold coming back, you're a fucking retard. And I have no problem going right up to your face and calling you a fucking retard. You can't touch me. You can't fucking touch me. I am God. First off, I know some of you were expecting Frank Jofo of Jofo in the Ring, and he was originally supposed to be on the show with me tonight reviewing the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, or give me a minute. The Elimination Chamber Premium Live Event. As if anyone fucking says that. I think 2.0, Matt Lee, I believe, of 2.0, he tweeted out during the show, Premium Ass Event. I am in full support of Matt Lee ripping WWE a new asshole with that line right there. But for those of you who expected Frank Jofo, the reason why Frank Jofo is not on the show tonight is because he actually texted me during the show, and he told me that he's actually in recovery from surgery. He said he had surgery a few weeks ago, and he is currently in recovery. It was a long-winded surgery, and he's not feeling too well. He was actually in pain. He actually didn't even appear on his own stream. Jofo in the Ring, that channel, actually did a live watch-along for the Elimination Chamber today. He actually was not a part of that. He's feeling under the weather. He's not feeling his best. So unfortunately, he texted me and he said, I'm not feeling my best. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. That's completely fine. Him and I will reschedule at a different point in time. Jofo in the ring, Frank Jofo, actually will be posting a live sit-down interview with me and him. We actually recorded this a couple weeks back. He's going to post that in the coming weeks if he hasn't already done so. He's going to notify me when that's up. I'll keep you guys updated. But thoughts and prayers to Frank Jofo of Jofo in the Ring. I hope that he has a nice, speedy recovery, and I really do hope that he is recovering quite well after his surgery. We will, trust me, we will get to a collaboration sooner rather than later down the line. But for now, I am flying solo today. Please make sure you follow me on social media at real_DJ_storms on Twitter. And on Instagram, you can follow me at @TheDJ_storms. Add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email on Google, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Send me an email, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, please like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description. I want to shout out All Elite Mikey. All Elite Mikey, he actually answered the call a couple of days ago. All Elite Mikey, he appeared on the rundown for WWE Elimination Chamber this past Thursday, so shout out to him. It was supposed to be Jay Leto, but Jay Leto had business obligations. He had to take care of some shit regarding his own real-life job, so shout out to Mikey for taking Jay Leto's place. Sooner rather than later, I will get Jay Leto back on the channel. I greatly appreciate Mikey for stopping by. Mikey is a fantastic individual, so shout out to him. If you have not already done so, I don't know why, but if you come on in here, you got to make sure you like the fucking stream. It is absolutely vital. Like the fucking stream and share it out on all platforms of social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, Facebook, Snapchat, or TikTok. Whatever social media platforms that you may use, share it out on all those social media platforms. Let your followers, your friends, your family members know that DJ Storms is live on YouTube.com talking about Elimination Chamber, ripping the WWE a new asshole, discussing the good and the bad that came out of Elimination Chamber and why this WrestleMania season is the worst yet. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not already done so. It is vital that you do so. And hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube because it's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combo and this beautiful mustache right here. I know this is Earl Cole's favorite part of the fucking show because I'm going to bring out the comb and I'm going to light it up with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because everybody wants a piece of the Storms Meister. Speaking of Earl Cole, final thing before we get into the results and the matches for the show, I will actually be appearing on The Wrestling Experience on March 3rd. Me and Earl Cole are going to be joining forces once again. There's a couple of other people joining the show as well. I believe, is it John Clark joining the show? I'm not completely sure, but me and Earl Cole will be joining forces with a couple of other people. I need to do some research. I haven't really been doing enough research on what Earl Cole is doing right now. My apologies, Earl. I've just been very busy with what I got going on here. And on top of that, with everything that's going on with my job, the life of a fucking national accounts analyst, it is absolutely fucking restless. It's absolutely fucking restless. But regardless of all of that, check out all the links in the description, and we are going to get straight into the review. No more self-brand promotion and advertisements. Elimination Chamber 2022 took place in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Pre-show started at 11, and we got the first pre-show match at around 11:37. Pre-show, we had The Miz versus Rey Mysterio. Miz versus Rey Mysterio. If there was one match that should have been moved to the pre-show, it was probably this match. This was probably the one match that I would have absolutely put on the pre-show. Very happy that they did put it on the pre-show. Although I'm going to be quite honest here. The match itself wasn't, it wasn't terrible. I know that a lot of people are going to be saying, are you sure about that, DJ? Yes, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this was a terrible fucking match. The Miz sucks. The Miz sucks, obviously, and this feud is completely fucking meaningless. But at the end of the day, the match itself between these two, it wasn't overly terrible. Pretty basic, but it wasn't overly terrible. It was a decent little match. It was probably one of the better overall matches of the night. Probably one of the better booked matches of the night. But no one fucking cares. Because this is absolutely, not only was it the most meaningless match on the show, but this was probably the most meaningless feud in WWE going into the chamber right now. Even though all of WWE's feuds right now are pretty much meaningless. Unless you're feuding with Roman Reigns, your feud is pretty much meaningless. Even Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, that fucking feud is fucking meaningless. The match itself wasn't overly terrible. There's just no reason to care about these two men because at the end of the day, Rey Mysterio, no matter if he's a legend or not, no matter if he's a Hall of Famer or not, he's been booked like shit. Him and Dominic should really be in the tag team division. And then The Miz, The Miz is one of the worst acts on WWE TV right now. So at the end of the day, I'm just waiting for The Miz to fucking retire. So, Rey Mysterio was in control. He gave The Miz a baseball slide splash on the floor. Miz then took advantage. We had The Miz with a tree of woe to Rey Mysterio and some kicks. Miz then slowed the pace down. Rey then rolled up Miz for a 2. Rey then got caught with a big boot. Rey came back with a Hurricane Rana into the ring post. A big seated senton. Springboard crossbody for a 2. Roundhouse kick to the head for a 2. Miz came back with a snap DDT for a close 2 count. We had a 619 by Rey, but Miz rolled to the floor. Rey with a slingshot plancha. Rey then got back into the ring. Miz took a chair. He threw it at Dominic Mysterio, and he was acting as if Dominic hit him. He was pulling an Eddie Guerrero. That was actually pretty innovative. I'll give him credit there. So Miz was acting as if Dominic hit him with the chair, a la Eddie Guerrero. The ref then kicked Dominic out of the ringside area. All of a sudden, Miz then threw Rey Mysterio into the post, and he went for the skull-crushing finale, but Rey rolled up Miz for the 1-2-3 victory, and Rey beats The Miz clean here on the Elimination Chamber pre-show in a decent little match, but ultimately meaningless. Afterwards, The Miz attacked Rey, and Dominic came in. They hit a double 619 and double frog splashes, and that was it. Afterwards, later on in the show, Miz was ranting to Kevin Patrick, and we actually had The Miz say he's going to call up someone. Apparently, according to PW Insider, it's going to be Logan Paul. It's going to be Logan fucking Paul. Yes, that's right. So let's run down everything that's going on for WrestleMania here. We're looking at a WrestleMania where Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold, Ronda Rousey, Johnny Knoxville, and Logan Paul all have prominent matches on the show. Meanwhile, Ricochet, Sheamus, Cesaro, Mansoor, Mustafa Ali, Naomi, and Sasha Banks are all more likely than not going to be left off the show. But yeah, let's bring back Logan fucking Paul. Let's bring back Logan Paul. Yeah, Logan Paul is really going to do some damage. Logan Paul is really going to do some fucking damage for WWE television. What a fucking joke. Decent little match, but what reason is there to care? What fucking reason is there to care? So, we had the main show. Starting off with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus Bill Goldberg. Roman Reigns and Bill Goldberg started off the show, and I was actually getting a little apprehensive, considering that they said that we were going to have twists and turns on the show. I know I wasn't the only one thinking this. I know a lot of people thought that Roman Reigns was potentially going to lose the Universal Championship, but thank God that he didn't. So, Roman Reigns, he took the mic after he made his entrance, and he said, "Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, acknowledge me." So, we got that. Then we had Goldberg making his entrance. Typical Goldberg fucking entrance. We actually had Roman Reigns and Goldberg circle each other to start off the match, and then we had a collar and elbow tie-up. I was actually a little bit shocked that they went this route. But we had the collar and elbow tie-up, Roman Reigns with some strikes. He sent Goldberg to the floor. Roman Reigns bounced Goldberg's head off of the announce table. Goldberg then whipped Reigns into the barricade. Back in the ring, Reigns and Goldberg, they were in the ring. Reigns was trying to hammer down some fists and some kicks on Goldberg. Goldberg came back with a spear. Roman Reigns then reversed a jackhammer, and he hit a rock bottom, a Uranagi. That got a 2 count. Roman Reigns then with a Superman punch right on the money. Goldberg actually sold this Superman punch pretty well, I'm not going to lie. Reigns went for a spear. Goldberg hit the spear. Goldberg then went for the jackhammer. And Roman Reigns locked in a guillotine, and it was locked in deep. Goldberg was trying to fight out of it, but it was too much for Goldberg to handle. And Goldberg dropped down. Roman Reigns locked it in, and Goldberg passed out. And Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship in what was the most perfectly booked match of the night. Exactly what should have happened. 5 minutes, couple spears, couple of big moves here and there, some strikes here and there, and Roman Reigns wins with a guillotine, and that was it. Roman Reigns chokes out Bill Goldberg, and in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. I can only pray that that is the end of Bill Goldberg's run in the WWE forever. I quite honestly hope that this is the end, and we never have to see Goldberg in a WWE ring wrestling ever again. Although I am quite fearful that WWE is planning on re-signing him. Hopefully, it's just to a Legends contract, and if he wants to be an ambassador, let him be a fucking ambassador. I don't give a shit. Let him take on the fucking Titus O'Neil role. Just don't put him in a fucking ring. And that was that. Roman Reigns retains, as he should, in the most perfectly booked match on the show. Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Piss, Nikki Ass Cheeks, Doudrop and Rhea Ripley, Elimination Chamber match where the winner faces the Raw Women's Champion at WrestleMania 38. You know, I actually tweeted out how Alexa Bliss, she came out with the same Firefly Funhouse outfit, the same Firefly Funhouse theme music, and the same Bray Wyatt-inspired Super Fiend character as before. Pretty much rendering all of those fucking therapy sessions worthless. And I tweeted out something. Let me go find it. I tweeted out something. Where is it? Here we go. I tweeted out exactly. Alexa Bliss is still sporting that Bray Wyatt themed character. Fucking terrible. What was the point of those god-awful therapy sessions? How has Alexa Bliss lasted this long in WWE with the lack of talent she has? You know, I actually had a couple of people, and this is how fucking retarded people are. I had a couple of people coming into my mentions trying to justify this facade about how Alexa Bliss is somehow a talented individual. What is she talented as? What is she talented at? Her offense is among the worst offense in the entire fucking wrestling industry when it comes to women's wrestling. Her character work is fucking terrible. It's nothing more than a fucking ripoff of everything Bray Wyatt related. The only reason why Alexa Bliss is in the position that she is in is because she looks like a fucking Playboy model. Because Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard, they favorite women that look like Alexa Bliss. Because in their minds, women's wrestling is nothing more than softcore pornography where women are supposed to look beautiful and they're supposed to slap each other around and wrestle in skanky clothing. That's Vince and Bruce's idea of women's wrestling. Meanwhile, on Dynamite, we just saw Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa beat the shit out of each other in a no DQ match. And we got Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker booked for Revolution in what could be the best women's match of the fucking year. That's the only reason why Alexa Bliss is successful. The only reason why Alexa Bliss is successful is because she looks like a fucking porn star. Alexa Bliss is one of the biggest talentless hacks in the entire women's wrestling industry, and I don't give a shit whether you're a fan of her or not. She fucking sucks. Absolutely fucking sucks. And the only people that are coming out in support of Alexa Bliss are these stans, these 15-year-old girls with no more than 40 brain cells, and these 500-pound virgins who haven't seen their dick in however many years that stare up at their ceiling with Alexa Bliss posters on their ceiling at 2 a.m. in the fucking morning. If you don't like the fucking truth, go suck a rabies-infested possum dick. Alexa Bliss is a talentless bimbo. So, Alexa Bliss came out, stereotypical Bray Wyatt character, blah, 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 blah. We had Nikki Ass Cheeks and Liv Morgan starting off the match. Doudrop came in. Doudrop went right after Nikki. Crowd was chanting for Morgan. I actually got to give Saudi Arabia credit. The crowd actually made a lot of these matches better than they were. The crowd actually made a lot of these matches better than they were. So I will give the crowd credit. They did a very good job at making the matches feel important. They did a very good job at not sounding like they were getting put to sleep, as if they were on NyQuil. So, crowd was chanting for Morgan. Doudrop absolutely squished Nikki against the steel. Liv Morgan was then sent into the chamber and then slammed onto the chamber floor. We had a nice running senton by Doudrop. Next entrant was Rhea Ripley. Nikki then started climbing the cage, as did Rhea. And we had Rhea throwing Nikki off of the side of the Elimination Chamber cage right onto Doudrop and Liv Morgan. Then we had a Riptide by Nikki, or on Nikki, by Rhea. 1, 2, 3, goodbye, Nikki, trash. I will see you on the next round of budget cuts. Alexa then came in. Alexa, she actually looked fairly decent. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure what Alexa's been doing, but apparently she decided, hey, I'm actually going to wrestle tonight. That doesn't mean I'm a fan of her. She looked good for about 25 seconds, and then she went right back to being the shit Alexa Bliss character that we all know she is. Alexa Bliss sucks dick, both literally and figuratively. So we had a double stomp by Liv Morgan to Bliss. Liv Morgan then got sent to the floor. Doudrop was on top. Liv Morgan with a sunset flip powerbomb to Doudrop, and she pins Doudrop for the 1, 2, 3. She eliminates Doudrop. Belair then came in. She lit up everyone. She actually military pressed Morgan with just one hand. Very impressive. Belair's always impressive. Spinebuster to Bliss. Handspring moonsault and a double stalling suplex by Ripley and Belair. Ripley and Belair then got into it themselves. We had a double code breaker by Liv. Bliss out of nowhere took out Liv. She delivered the Twisted Bliss and Liv is gone. Goodbye, Liv. You will be on the unemployment line with Nikki ASH sooner rather than later. After WrestleMania is over, both you and Nikki Trash are getting cut. Unfortunately, But that's just the way of life when it comes to working for the WWE. Ripley then got caught with the KOD by Bianca. Bianca eliminates Rhea. Now we're down to Bianca and Alexa. I was very, very apprehensive. I was thinking to myself, all right, they didn't give Goldberg the win. They didn't give Goldberg the Universal Championship. Are they going to go back to Alexa Bliss and give Alexa Bliss the title opportunity at Becky at WrestleMania? I don't know. So Belair was caught with a sunset flip powerbomb by Bliss for a 2. Belair then powerbombed Bliss off the ropes and then into the cage, and then off the ropes and then into the cage. It was like a seesaw battle, a seesaw powerbomb battle. Afterwards, she went up to the top for the 450 splash. She missed. We had some back and forth roll-ups, some back and forth counters, but ultimately Bianca won with the KOD. Listen, it's not like the in-ring wrestling from the 6 women in this match was terrible. The wrestling in itself wasn't dog shit. The problem was this was the most basic, formulaic, uncool elimination chamber that they've ever produced. There were no cool moments. There were no cool high spots. There was no creativity. There was nothing that made you want to go back and watch this match. This was as basic as you could possibly get. And it was honestly disappointing for Elimination Chamber terms. Absolutely the most uneventful Elimination Chamber that they've ever put on. Was it better than the chamber match that Shayna won? Yeah, I'll say that. But that doesn't mean it was a fun chamber to watch. The wrestling in itself wasn't bad, but there was just no wow factor to this fucking chamber. It's as if they didn't even try, and that's literally the running theme for this show. They didn't even try. Didn't even fucking try. Belair wins. Now what does this mean? It was typical. It was very formulaic, and we all expected it. WWE apparently is now trying to redeem with Bianca Belair what they fucked up with her at at SummerSlam. At SummerSlam, they fucked up Bianca Belair by having her lose to Becky Lynch in 26 seconds. Bianca Belair has been buried ever since. And I want to let everyone know, having Bianca beat Becky, that's not going to undo the damage that was already done. It's not. You want to know how you fix what you fucked up with Bianca at WrestleMania? Not WrestleMania, fucking SummerSlam. It's WrestleMania fucking season. I can't even fucking think straight. You want to know how you fix what you fucked up with Bianca at SummerSlam last year? Beating Becky won't do shit. I'll tell you how you fix it. And that's actually what I'm going to talk about after we talk about the next match. Charlotte Flair and Sonia Deville versus Naomi and Ronda Rousey. Ronda had to wrestle with one arm tied behind her back. Ronda Rousey, I'm not sure what it was, but the zip tie or the rope tie that Ronda had, it legitimately came undone. And it looked absolutely fucking terrible. It looked cringy, legitimately. For some odd reason, midway through the match, it became undone. And Ronda literally had to pretend as if her arm was tied behind her back. It did not look good at all. It did not. First off, without Naomi, I'm telling you right now, props to Naomi. Really, props to Naomi. Because without Naomi, this match would have fucking sucked. Naomi legitimately carried this match. Carried this match, hands fucking down. Without Naomi, this match would have been an absolute fucking disaster of epic proportions. So shout out to her. Major props to Naomi. So Ronda, she came out wearing her karate gi. She didn't even get her typical offense in. She did not look good at all. Naomi came in. Her offense was great. Her offense was awesome, as per usual. Charlotte then, she stopped Ronda from putting the armbar in on Sonia. And then Charlotte isolated Ronda. Sonia isolated Ronda as well. Naomi came in. She lit up Charlotte Flair. She had some great moves on Charlotte Flair. We had a Hurricane Rana, big springboard enziguri, corkscrew plancha, and a big crossbody for a 2. Awesome stuff right there by Naomi. Charlotte Flair with a big powerbomb for a 2. Sonia then came in. She took out Ronda. Ronda's arm, again, like I said, the zip tie or the rope that was tying Ronda's arm behind her back legitimately came undone. It did not look good at all. It looked legitimately cringeworthy. Ronda then came in, hit a one-armed Piper's Pit. She looked right at Charlotte as she locked in the armbar, and Sonya Deville tapped out. Decent little match. Naomi legitimately carried the match, like I said. If it hadn't been for Naomi, this match would have absolutely sucked dick. So props to Naomi. Secondly, with all the momentum that Naomi has had, Naomi should be the one fighting Charlotte Flair, not Ronda. The only reason why Ronda is back is because WWE thinks that Ronda Rousey is some type of big draw and she's going to sell these tickets for fucking WrestleMania. Oh my God, Ronda Rousey. She ain't going to do shit. If you have to give away tickets 2 for 1, you got to bring back Stone Cold. You got to fucking bring in Johnny Knoxville and Logan Paul. Ronda ain't that big of a draw anyway. And you don't even need a fucking 2-night WrestleMania. All you need to do is reduce the amount of fucking matches on the show. We don't need 15, 16 matches. Reduce them to 8, 9 matches at most. Simple. I can name you so many fucking matches that don't even need to be on the show. Johnny Knoxville doesn't need to be on the show. Logan Paul doesn't need to be on the show. Stone Cold doesn't need to be on the show. Ronda Rousey doesn't even need to be on the show. Fucking stupid. Now, on to Bianca, because Bianca could very well be made into an even bigger star than before. The match at WrestleMania that she had with Sasha was great. And that meant a lot. That was the meteoric rise of Bianca Belair. Really, 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 really good stuff. And then they fucked up everything with Bianca. They fucked up everything with Bianca at SummerSlam. Beating Becky will do nothing for Bianca. If you want to redeem what you fucked up with Bianca at SummerSlam last year, here's what needs to be done. Bianca, it seems all but confirmed that Bianca's going to beat Becky and become the Raw Women's Champion. Great. It will do nothing for Bianca. What will do something for Bianca is this. Ronda wins the SmackDown Women's Championship from Charlotte. Obviously, with the title versus title match with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, that should realistically end the brand split. You do a unification match, Roman Reigns retires the Universal title, and he wins the WWE title, continues his reign of dominance. Simple. Simple. The tag team championships could also be an integral part of WrestleMania. I would absolutely have the Viking Raiders beat the Usos for the tag team titles. Now, they did not beat the Usos today at Elimination Chamber. The match didn't even happen. So, Viking Raiders got a big old fuck you. Viking Raiders got a big old fuck you by WWE as well as the Usos. I would have the Viking Raiders actually win the titles from the Usos. Then take them into WrestleMania and do a title for title match against the Alpha Academy. So you got Roman and Lesnar title for title, and you got Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders title for title. You merge the tag team divisions and you merge the 2 world championships. Ronda and Charlotte can stay as it is. Bianca and Becky at WrestleMania stays as it is. So now you got those 2 matches. What do? Belair, it seems as though it's all but confirmed that she's going to beat Becky. Charlotte, have her fucking lose to Ronda. Have Ronda beat Charlotte. Then what do? Well, you got SummerSlam coming up. If you want to make SummerSlam a big fucking deal, how about this? Ronda Rousey, SmackDown Women's Champion. Bianca Belair, Raw Women's Champion. Ronda, Bianca, they get their own spotlight at SummerSlam, and they do a title versus title match with Belair beating Ronda, unifying the championships, and we have one women's champion in Bianca Belair. if you want to redeem Bianca Belair from that disaster last year at SummerSlam, that's how you do it. That's what needs to be done. If I see any other fucking booking decision that does not involve what I just said, I am automatically deeming it a failure. The brand split on every single show, every single division that there's a brand split in. The Raw Women's Division, SmackDown Women's Division, Raw Tag Team, SmackDown Tag Team, Universal WWE title, it all needs to go away. It all needs to go away. And in order for us to do that, we need to have unification matches. So if you don't want to do the unification match between Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion at WrestleMania, do it at SummerSlam. Ronda Bianca, Ronda puts over Bianca. Simple. Simple. That's what Ronda Rousey is there to do. Ronda Rousey should be there to help get others over, not compete in a match herself and get the championship. Have her beat Charlotte. Have that be the end of it. I have a feeling they're going to stink up the joint. I'm legitimately calling it right now. I'm legitimately calling it. Ronda and Charlotte is going to be worse than Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar from WrestleMania 34. You heard it here first. I'm calling it right now. And I hope people fucking riot. I hope they play beach ball. I hope they shit all over that match throughout the entire duration of it. I really do hope so. I really do. But if you want to redeem Bianca, that's how you do it. Bianca beats Becky, Ronda beats Charlotte. You wait until SummerSlam, you give both women a few title defenses here or there, give Ronda a match against Asuka, give Ronda a match against fucking Sasha Banks, give Ronda a match against maybe a Shotzi, give Bianca a match against Rhea, give Bianca a match against, I don't know, maybe a Doudrop, maybe a Liv Morgan, and then at SummerSlam, title for title, Bianca Ronda, Bianca wins. Simple. That's what needs to be done. Will they do it? Probably not. Why? Because this is WWE. And what I just told you, that would be the right thing to do. When has WWE willingly done the right thing? The match itself was decent only because of Naomi. But we all know where WWE's headed here. It's a little dark. Hang on one second. It's a little dark. There we go. There we go. Get some light. Get some light. Moving on. Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss. Falls Count Anywhere match. This was probably one of the better matches of them. This was actually very fun for what it was. I'm not going to lie. This match and Lita and Becky were probably the top two best matches of the entire show. Not even fucking lying. These two matches were probably the top two best matches of the show. Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss is actually very underappreciated. I'm not even going to bullshit you. Madcap Moss is actually a damn good pro wrestler. The problem is that he's straddled with one of the biggest wastes of time in the entire wrestling industry in Happy Corbin, and he's fucking wrestling in dress shoes, dress shorts, and fucking suspenders with no shirt. The guy legitimately looks like he could be a solid hand in the mid-card. Madcap Moss, if they gave him a gimmick in which he was a bodybuilder, he legit looks like a fucking bodybuilder. He looks in great shape. So if Madcap Moss looked like a bodybuilder, you can give him that type of character and have him walk around calling everyone else slobs. You can give him a Rick Rude-like character. That would be a great gimmick for Madcap Moss. But instead, he's with Corbin telling jokes and wrestling in fucking suspenders. As if he's Steve Urkel or fucking Fred Figglehorn. If you remember Fred Figglehorn. God, those fucking days on YouTube back in 2009, 2010. Holy shit. That shit was annoying. But Madcap Moss, he's actually a very underrated pro wrestler. The guy can wrestle. And after what happened in this match, guy's fucking tough as nails. He's a fucking beast for finishing the fucking match. So props to Moss. So this Falls Count Anywhere match wasn't bad at all. It was actually very fun. We had Drew McIntyre being attacked by Corbin and Moss. So they realized there was no DQ. Probably the first heels that I've seen that were actually fucking smart. WWE actually made their heels look smart. Wow. They actually made them look smart. So Drew was attacked by both Corbin and Moss. They brawled onto the stage. We had a double suplex by Corbin and Moss on the ramp and a beautiful fallaway slam by Moss on the floor for a 2. Drew came back with a belly-to-belly. He delivered a reverse Alabama slam, and I swear to God, Madcap Moss landed right on his fucking head. It looked fucking brutal. It looked as though he cracked his skull or he fucking broke his neck. I swear to God, it did not look good at all. I was legitimately fearful for Madcap Moss in that moment right then and there. And he proved to everyone he's a fucking beast. I don't know how the fuck he got up and walked. I'm not sure how the fuck he continued the match. I'm not sure how he finished the match and put on as good of a performance as he did against Drew McIntyre. But holy shit, props to fucking Madcap Moss. Props to Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss is a fucking beast. That looked fucking nasty. It looked nasty. So he landed right on the top of his head. I legit thought he broke his neck. Moss then got up. He got up. Absolutely fucking insane. I don't know how he did it. I think that Madcap Moss might be inhuman. Madcap Moss was suplexed onto the announce table very sloppily. Corbin then hit McIntyre with a steel chair. He then sent Drew through the barricade. Moss covered Drew, but Drew kicked out. Moss, like the fucking madman he is, more like Madman Moss, he fucking went up to the top rope after he nearly broke his neck. He has to have a fucking concussion. I swear to God. There is no way he made it out of that without an injury. He at least has a concussion. Moss then got suplexed off the top rope, looked brutal. That got a 2. Drew with a future shock DDT. He then took a swing with his sword, Angela, at Corbin. Corbin got out of dodge. Drew then with a Claymore. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre wins a surprisingly fun match. Match was actually better than their match at day 1. This is actually better than their match at day 1. So I got to give both Drew and Moss credit. They did fairly decently here. They did fairly decently. But again, similar to the Women's Elimination Chamber, similar to Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz, it's absolutely fucking meaningless. Who fucking gives a shit? Who gives a shit? The WWE product is at its worst. It's at its worst it's ever been. And Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin, they're contributing to that. They're contributing to how bad the show and the entire company as a whole really is. So why exactly should I care? Regardless of whether or not Madcap Moss is a fucking beast, which he is, regardless of whether or not him and Drew put on a fairly decent performance here in this match, regardless of that, why am I supposed to care? What value is there in Happy Corbin? What value is there in Madcap Moss telling fucking dad jokes on SmackDown on Fox? Am I watching fucking Jeff Dunham play with his puppet Ahmed the Dead Terrorist? Or am I watching a wrestling show? Am I watching what should be 2 world-class athletes? One guy, incredibly underrated. The other guy, who's a made man in that company. Am I watching 2 incredibly underrated athletes go head-to-head in a fucking wrestling match, which should be taken seriously, but it's not? What am I watching? What am I watching, and why should I even bother investing my time in it? Why should I bother doing anything but complain about said match and said characters? I almost feel bad. I almost feel bad for Madcap Moss. Moss is a beast. Match was okay. It was fine. But who cares? Match that many people could consider the match of the night. Lita versus Becky Lynch. Lita versus Becky Lynch. This was for the Raw Women's Championship. So, first off, Lita is fucking ageless. Lita is ageless. Lita looks amazing. Lita is fantastic. I'm struggling to believe. I really am. I'm struggling to believe that Lita is 46. There's no way. There's no way that Lita's 46. I can't see it. There's no way she's 46. She looks like she's not a day over fucking 30. She looks as if she's not a day over fucking 30. I do not know what she did. I'm not sure where she found the fountain of youth, but holy shit, if I look that good at 46, I'll be counting my fucking blessings. Lita looks fantastic for her age. And in the ring, she hasn't missed a fucking beat. She has not missed a fucking beat. I would even go so far as to say that this was probably Becky Lynch's best title defense ever since her return. Ever since her return at SummerSlam and that fucking horrendous decision to have her squash Bianca, this was actually her best title defense to date. These two women actually worked very well together, and these two women did a very, very, very good job. They did a very good job. Probably the best match on the show. Probably the best match on the show. Lita looks amazing. She really does. So Lita came in with a nice Hurricane Rana to Becky. Becky came back with a springboard leg drop for a 2. Becky then tried to slow the pace down with a Beck-sploder for a 2. Lita countered the Beck-sploder into a DDT. Lita then mounted a comeback. Nice crossbody for a 2. Also, one thing I will give WWE credit for, and this is for all the women's matches, they modified the women's gears. A lot of gears that WWE had going into the previous Saudi Arabian shows, it was just black tights covering the women's, all the women's skin, and then just a t-shirt to represent who's who. Who's Becky, who's Sasha, who's Bianca. They didn't do that this time. They actually customized gears for the women, which actually looked very, very, very good. I gotta say that. Becky's gear looked very good. Rhea's gear looked very good. Bianca's gear looked fantastic. Probably the best gear out of anyone. Lita's gear looked great. So I got to give them credit there. They actually customized different types of gears for the different types of women. That actually looked very, 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 very nice. So Lita mounted a comeback with a nice crossbody for a 2. We had some back and forth roll-ups. We had a sleeper hold by Lita. Becky was able to get to the ropes. Lita with a powerbomb for a 2. Becky and Lita then were on the top. Lita with a tribute to her greatest rival ever, Trish Stratus, with a Stratusfaction. And then she delivered a snapmare driver, which actually looked very good. Lita pinned Becky Lynch, and Lita did not get the 3 count. Becky then came out of nowhere with a manhandle slam. And we had Lita getting her foot on the ropes. Really good stuff right there. Becky then went for the Lita salt. Becky tried for a moonsault. She missed it. She actually does a better moonsault than Charlotte Flair. Go figure. And Becky doesn't even do a fucking moonsault. Charlotte Flair's moonsault sucks dick. And by the way, I didn't even say it. I forgot to even say it throughout this entire stream. Fuck Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair. And all of her supporters. So Lita got her foot on the ropes. Becky went for the Lita salt. She missed it. Lita out of nowhere with the twist of fate. And in this moment, I legitimately thought that we were going to get some twists and turns. Dave Meltzer said WWE's planning twists and turns. I legit thought that this was going to be one of those twists and turns. Lita with a picture-perfect Lita salt. I swear to God, I thought that Becky Lynch lost the title right here. I legit thought that Lita was going to win the championship right here. Becky kicked out. Really, really, really good near fall. Awesome sequence. Afterwards, we had another manhandle slam. Becky retains the Raw Women's Championship in what was perhaps the best match of the night. This was actually very good. Probably Becky's best title defense, But at the end of the day, regardless of how great Lita looked, this match ultimately meant nothing because Becky, the only reason why they brought back Lita to face Becky is because Becky legit has no challengers. She has absolutely nobody to face. She's run through everyone. And the only reason why they're putting Bianca in there against Becky is because it ties up loose ends from SummerSlam. It makes sense. And there's legit no one else. They're going back to the same old people that they go back to every single time. Now Bianca is one of those people. But Bianca, at the end of the day, she's nowhere near on the level of a Becky or a Charlotte because of what they did to her at SummerSlam. I've never seen that happen to Sasha. I've never seen that happen to Charlotte. I've never seen that happen to Ronda or Becky. So why does it have to happen to Bianca? That was a fucking embarrassment last year at SummerSlam. I'm still not over it. Lita looked awesome. If Lita wants to stick around for a little bit longer, I certainly would not complain. I certainly would not complain because Lita actually looked amazing. She really did. Lita looked amazing. But again, they did the same thing with Becky's title reign that they're doing with Roman's title reign. Roman Reigns, he has no challengers. That's why they brought back Cena. That's why they brought back Goldberg. That's why they brought back Lesnar. They brought back Lita because WWE has failed to build up any credible opponents for their champions. No champions in the entire WWE right now have credible fucking challengers. Meanwhile, you take a look at fucking AEW, how many fucking credible challengers have we had for Adam Page? Bryan Danielson, he won a fucking tournament. He went undefeated. Lance Archer came back. He went undefeated. He went 5-0 before he fought Adam Page. Now, Adam Cole, he's been on an undefeated streak for 6 months. He's getting a world title match. They have credible challengers to last them for 3 fucking years with Adam Page as world champion. They could have Adam Page go on a Roman Reigns type reign if they wanted to. There are no credible challengers for any of WWE's champions. That's why they had to bring back Lita and Goldberg and Lesnar and Cena. But at the end of the day, I legit don't care. I don't care about anything that Becky's doing. And the sooner that Becky Lynch loses that title, the happier I'm going to be because Becky Lynch right now is undoubtedly one of the worst, if not the worst act in the women's division, right behind Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. It goes Charlotte, Alexa, Becky. It goes Charlotte, Alexa, Becky as the top 3 worst in the women's division as we speak. And to be quite honest with you, I hope Sasha Banks isn't even on WrestleMania because if she is caught up in this bullshit, any of the bullshit that she has to endure here, I would legit feel bad for her. I hope Sasha Banks is nowhere near WrestleMania. Stay away from this garbage. It's not worth it. Becky retains in what was perhaps her best title defense. Very good match. Lita looked amazing. And to be, you know what? I will say this. If you want to do Lita versus Sasha at WrestleMania, I would not complain one bit. Not going to complain one bit. If you're not putting Sasha in that match with Ronda and Charlotte and you're having a triple threat match, to be quite honest with you, I would not be shocked if they do put Sasha in that match because how are you going to have Ronda and Charlotte lose? Charlotte doesn't want to lose. Charlotte doesn't want to put anyone over. And Ronda can't lose her first major match back on a WrestleMania. So you're going to put Sasha in there, and Sasha's going to be used as nothing more than a fall girl. She's going to take the pin. Guarantee you that's what they do. But if you want to do Sasha versus Lita at WrestleMania, I am 100% for that. Sasha Banks and Lita, that would absolutely steal the show. I'd go for that. The Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders versus the Usos. SmackDown Tag Team Championship. This match didn't even take place. This match didn't even take place after we got legitimately the most tame, the most lackluster, and the most soft, I will say, the most soft attack, the most lukewarm attack that you could possibly do. All the Usos did was super kick the Viking Raiders and then suplex Ivar onto Eric. And all of a sudden, they can't compete. The Viking Raiders can't compete. There's no way they're going to be able to compete. Are you fucking serious? Did you not see what they endured a couple years back at War Games? What about that War Games match in 2018 where the Viking Raiders, they teamed up with Pete Dunne and Ricochet to battle the Undisputed Era in 2018? Look at what they went through in that fucking match. Are you telling me that this is apparently more deadly and more devastating than that War Games match back in 2018? The Viking Raiders cannot compete. Oh my God. Ivar was suplexed onto Eric. Eric was super kicked by the Usos. Are you serious? The fuck is this shit? How is that supposed to be believable? How is that supposed to be taken seriously? How many fucking attacks do we see? Look at Adam Page and Lance Archer. Adam Page and Lance Archer, look at what they did a couple weeks ago. They nearly fucking killed each other in that Texas death match. Adam Page threw Lance Archer through a fucking glass pallet. Oh my God, Lance Archer got thrown through a fucking glass pallet. He got up and continued the match for another 15 fucking minutes. But all of a sudden the Viking Raiders can't fucking compete, all because they got super kicked and suplexed by the Usos? Do you really take the fans to be that fucking stupid? Why did you even book the match on the card? Why did you even book the match on the card if you weren't going to have it take place? The only reason that I can think of as to why this match didn't take place was because A, they were running short on time, or B, they just want to do the match on SmackDown to try and pop a rating just because of the simple fact that SmackDown, they know for a fact that SmackDown's going to sink into Monday Night Raw levels of bad sooner rather than later. I honestly don't understand why. I don't understand why. Why did you book the match if it was going to take place? And please, do not treat your fans like fucking morons by trying to say that, oh my God, there's no way the Viking Raiders will be able to compete. Look at what we saw 2 weeks ago in that Texas death match with Adam Page and Lance Archer. Look at what we saw in the War Games match with the War Raiders and Pete Dunne and Ricochet versus the Undisputed Era. Are you telling me that this attack was more devastating and deadly than what those two matches embodied? How fucking retarded, seriously. Fucking stupid. Match didn't even take place. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the Usos and the Viking Raiders. They get flown down to Saudi Arabia literally to be in a 3-minute segment where they're attacked and their match doesn't even take place. I feel bad for them. Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles. This was a Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. This was perhaps the only thing that I was actually looking forward to. This was the only thing that I was looking forward to, and I can honestly tell you, WWE, it's like they love to do this. It's like they love to fucking do shit like this. They love to just spit in your fucking face. They love to take everything that they've done. They love to take everything that was hyped up to be a big deal, and they just like to spit right in your face with how bad their shows have become. I'm not sure how legit Bobby Lashley's injury is. I don't know if he legit hit one of the beams. The back of his head hit one of the beams. I'm not sure if he's in concussion protocol. I don't know what the fuck happened. I really don't know what the fuck happened. I am under the impression that this wasn't even legit. For some reason, I honestly believe that this might be a work because they're doing Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar on night one. They're going to do that on night one in the main event because they know damn well that Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair ain't going to do jack shit if it main events the show. They have a better chance of that match getting a better reaction if they put it on before the main event rather than in the main event of night one. So for some strange reason, I think that they're going to do Lesnar versus Lashley in the main event of night one. Lesnar then wins and then goes to fight Roman in the main event of night two. I don't know. I think that might be the way that they go. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. But this should have been a lot better than it was. Instead, it just turned into a copy and paste, carbon copy repeat of what happened at Elimination Chamber 2020 with Shayna Baszler. And it was honestly pathetic. It honestly was pathetic. So, Theory and Rollins started off the chamber. We had a very nice back and forth between these two. He then powerbombed Theory through the pod. He powerbombed Theory into the pod, into Lashley, and during this, I didn't catch it. I'm not sure what the hell happened, but apparently Lesnar, when Theory was powerbombed through the plexiglass into Lesnar, Lesnar hit the back of his head on one of the support beams in the pod, and apparently Lesnar went to concussion protocol after that. I'm not sure whether or not this was a work. I'm not sure whether or not this was legit. If someone could fucking confirm that to me, I would be forever grateful. I don't know what happened here. I'm not sure if he was legit injured or not. But this was only the start of the downfall. First entrant that came in was Riddle. He had a nice exploder suplex to Rollins and a broton to Theory. Adam Pearce and more WWE officials then came out to check on Lashley, and they helped Lashley out of the chamber, and he was taken to concussion protocol. Riddle then was given a super back superplex, a reverse superplex by Rollins. We had a frog splash by Rollins for a 2. AJ Styles then came in. He had a torture rack bomb for a 2 on Seth Rollins. He was in control. We had a double power bomb by Austin Theory. A floating bro on Theory, but Theory kicked out. Then we had a double DDT, a very Orton-esque DDT on Matt Riddle. Or by Matt Riddle, excuse me. A very Orton-esque DDT by Matt Riddle. We then had Riddle going for the RKO. But he realized Lesnar was about to enter the match, or so we thought. Apparently, Lashley's chamber was the one that opened. And then the announcer said Lesnar was going to have to wait. Lesnar said, fuck this. He literally kicked the plexiglass off of its hinges. He kicked the plexiglass off of the fucking door. Kicked the plexiglass off of the door. And he just ran roughshod on everyone. He hit an F5 on Seth Rollins. Goodbye, Seth Rollins. F5 to Riddle, goodbye Riddle. F5 to Styles, goodbye Styles. All that's left was Theory. Lesnar and Theory. Lesnar then got his hands on Theory. He went after him, but Theory hit a low blow. Theory tried to fight. He hit a roll-through drop kick, a DDT for a 2. And then he started climbing up the cage. He was trying to get out of the fucking chamber. And what happened? He was caught. Lesnar smashed Theory's head against the plexiglass, and all of a sudden, he delivers a fucking F5, an F5 off the top. Theory was sent all the way off the top of the pod through the floor, and Lesnar wins it. Well, you have AEW putting on a better product than WWE. When you have AEW putting on a better women's division than WWE. And you have Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez putting on a fantastic match this past Tuesday. When you have Serena Deeb looking fantastic week in and week out. When you have Britt Baker setting the world ablaze. When AEW is making WWE's women's division look terrible, as they have immensely better wrestlers than WWE has. WWE has Alexa Bliss, and AEW's got Thunder Rosa. When you got AEW putting on a better tag team division than what WWE is doing. when you got AEW putting on better tag team wrestling than WWE. Meanwhile, the tag teams don't even get any fucking time on the Elimination Chamber card. Now you have WWE putting on a better main event scene. Or excuse me, AEW putting on a better main event scene than WWE. As AEW is absolutely slaughtering WWE in every sense of the word. You got Theory, you got Styles, you got Rollins, you got Riddle. Absolutely slaughtered and made to look like fucking jobbers against Brock Lesnar. One F5 each, and every single one of them fall at the feet of Brock Lesnar. Every single one of them fall at the feet of Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar is going to WrestleMania as the WWE Champion. I understand that Lesnar was in this match. That meant he had to win. I get it. Lesnar had to win. He had to win because if he didn't win, then it would have been pointless to even have him in the fucking match. I get it. I get that. But seriously, you couldn't have at least tried? You couldn't have at least tried to make things somewhat interesting? You couldn't have at least have given us a competitive fucking match, even with Lashley going down. You couldn't have at least given us a semi-decent Elimination Chamber match. Now you have to have Lesnar go in there and treat 4 of the biggest stars on Monday Night Raw, treat them like absolute fucking shit just to get the WWE title and get the match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and make it title for title. At this rate, WrestleMania is nothing more than the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar show. They're nothing more than the Roman Reigns and the Brock Lesnar show. You cannot even give us a semi-decent match. Everyone wants Matt Riddle to face Brock Lesnar. Meanwhile, you're making Matt Riddle look like a fucking bum against Lesnar, not even lasting 2 minutes in there with Lesnar, 1 F5 and he's done. What about Styles and Rollins? Styles and Rollins just put on 2 fantastic matches with Lesnar a couple years back. Now all of a sudden they're fucking bums because this version of Brock Lesnar is apparently Superman. What about Austin Theory? Austin Theory, a young prospect, someone who should easily be a future world champion, and all of a sudden he can't even get a smidge bit of offense against Brock Lesnar, and he takes a fucking F5 off the fucking pod, and he's absolutely fucking destroyed. Absolutely fucking destroyed. What a fucking joke. WWE burying their talent, burying the full-time performers, destroying any and all momentum, no matter how little of it there was, destroying any and all momentum that their superstars had, and at the end of it all, what happens? The same person that we have been accustomed to for years is the world champion once again for the 10th fucking time. 10-time champion Brock Lesnar is now getting a match with Roman Reigns, title for title, and nothing is exciting, nothing is intriguing, nothing was interesting whatsoever. Same old shit, same stereotypical outcome, and no effort was put into the match at all. And people wonder, they wonder why the ratings for WWE are going down as the weeks go on. They wonder why no more than 1.6, 1.7 million people are watching Monday Night Raw. They wonder why Raw's ratings year over year has decreased. They wonder why no one gives a single fucking shit about anything Monday Night Raw related. They wonder why people have stopped watching World Wrestling Entertainment. It's because of shit like this. We want something new. The people want something fresh that we can sink our teeth into. The people want something fresh. The people don't want people to be underutilized. They don't want people to be overutilized. It's like WWE doesn't know how to fucking book anybody. They either underutilize someone or they show too much of someone. We see way too much of Brock Lesnar and we don't see enough of Matt Riddle. We see way too much of Roman Reigns. We don't see enough of Kevin Owens. There has been nobody that's been booked just right in WWE in God knows how long. Everyone is either underutilized or overexposed. You take a look at AEW, literally, how many people have been booked just right? Darby's been booked great. Jungle Boy's been booked great. Sammy's been booked great. Andrade, Paige, Cole, Omega, the Bucks, Jay fucking White last night came in on night one and he main evented their second biggest show in its history so far. Jay White fucking main evented AEW Rampage and he was made to look like $1 million against Trent Beretta. Trent Beretta gets all of these top tier matches against guys like Nick Jackson and Moxley and Jay White and Adam Cole. Why is it that Trent Beretta is made to look better on AEW television and he loses all of his singles matches? Meanwhile, you take a look at everybody on WWE television, and not even Austin Theory, not even a Matt Riddle, Seth Rollins, not even AJ Styles. No one is booked to look any good whatsoever outside of the stereotypical ones. Lesnar, Roman, Charlotte, Becky. It is a fucking joke. And no amount of money, no amount of revenue, no amount of stocks can justify it. Nothing can justify the garbage that we saw. The wrestling on this show wasn't even that bad. I know bad wrestling when I see bad wrestling. This wasn't Bray Wyatt, Goldberg levels of bad, but the creative difference, the creative writing and the creative booking, the sheer idiocy from WWE Creative, the horrendous writing produced from WWE Creative on a weekly basis is absolutely slaughtering their product. Like Lesnar slaughtered Austin Theory when he F5'd them off the fucking chamber pod. WWE Creative is slaughtering the television product week by week by week by week. There is really nothing more to say. There's legitimately nothing that I can say in the last hour and a half that you won't hear from anyone else that is as smart as me. People know who the fuck is in the top positions in WWE, and they know who the fuck WWE treats like shit. If you're not Lesnar, Roman, Orton, Goldberg, Becky, Charlotte, they're going to treat you like shit. The most intriguing thing about the WWE is the fact that Cody Rhodes could potentially sign. Some people were saying, oh, Miz is calling up Cody Rhodes against the Mysterios. No, he's not. He's calling up fucking Logan Paul. Sean Ross Sapp even came out and he said that Cody Rhodes isn't even signed, sealed, and delivered for WWE. Cody Rhodes hasn't even inked a deal with WWE yet. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Cody. I don't. But when the most intriguing part about your company is a man who's coming over from the competition, even though you want to say it's not competition, but we all know it's competition. AEW's been kicking your ass for the last 3 years. Be real here. You want to say it's not competition, but you have someone coming over from the competition and he isn't even signed, sealed, and delivered, and yet he is the most intriguing thing about your product. People are legitimately going to be watching the WWE product simply because of the fact that they're going to wait and see if Cody even shows up. And when he doesn't show up in the next couple weeks, if he doesn't show up in the next couple weeks, what's going to happen? I'm not even mad about Cody potentially going to WWE. I just want them to utilize him correctly. Will they? No. I just hope he knows what he's fucking doing. And I'm going to talk about that more on the LFU tomorrow at 2 p.m. And I hope all of you will be there to watch. What should have been a really good show, what looked like a better, like a really good show on paper. Was it better than the Rumble? I would say it was better than the Rumble. But what looked to be a decent show on paper ultimately destroyed once again by shit creative. Can't fucking stand it. I really can't stand it. And I really do hope to God. I don't know how, I don't know when, I'm not sure how it's going to happen, but I really do hope to fucking God. I really do. I hope to God that some way, shape, or form, WWE wakes the fuck up. I really hope they wake the fuck up. I really, honest to God, I really hope they wake the fuck up, and I really do hope that at some point, things get better. Do I have any faith? No, I don't. I doubt they will ever get better. that was pretty much the Elimination Chamber. Am I going to be watching Raw? Of course I'm going to be watching Raw. Am I going to be watching SmackDown? Of course I'm going to be watching SmackDown. Am I going to be keeping my eye on WWE? Of course I'm going to be keeping my eye on WWE. I'm going to be watching WWE like a hawk to see what they do. Can I be mad? Absolutely I can be fucking mad. Because the product sucks cock. Elimination Chamber, an absolute joke. Absolute joke, and WWE continues to showcase to everyone that they will never, ever build new stars. I am just waiting for the day that they sell the company. And if they do sell the company, I pray to fucking God that Disney, Amazon, fucking Fox, or NBC Universal, Peacock, whatever, whoever's buying the WWE, I am praying to fucking God that they kick Vince out. Vince McMahon is no longer running the company, because if he is, this company, I've given up. This company's never going to get better. This company will never, ever get better. I've given up. They're never going to get better. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind for the Elimination Chamber. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. You guys were fantastic all fucking stream. Thank you to DJ Sums and Danielle Wolf and Earl Colbay Bay and Adam Carl and DD. And Peanuts, thank you all. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. You guys definitely make doing this all worthwhile for me. You definitely make watching this shit fucking show worth it. Thoughts and prayers are sent out to Mr. Frank Jofo. Thank you. Drew on the beat as well. It's been a while since I've seen you. Again, check out all the links in the description. Follow me on all of those social medias. Like, comment, and subscribe. And be on the lookout tomorrow, because tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be live once again for the LFU, and we will be talking about the latest news and rumors going on in the world of pro wrestling. And there will be no weekly show reviews. It's a good break for me, and it's just going to be the news, rumors, and reports. But once again, like, comment, subscribe. Check out all those links in the description. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. I'm DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind. And remember who runs the fucking IWC. Who but DJ motherfucking Storms. Peace.